Good afternoon, Jenny. It's Eric at Campbell River Toyota. As you asked for, here is the 1, 2, 3s, as it were, of your new Prius C and how to drive it. All right, Jenny, so this is the front console of your new vehicle here. You have your head unit, your air conditioning control here, which I'll explain in a moment, the CD player, which you talked about, as well as your speedometer and information center. So I'll show you how that all works. To begin with, you have your key fob, very similar to any other key fob you get these days. You have your unlock, lock, and your panic button. You're going to start this car just like your current vehicle. Foot on the brake, key in the ignition, and you turn all the way forwards. Now you'll notice it doesn't turn over the engine right away. Right now the computer is initializing the hybrid system. You see ready there in the left hand side of your screen. That means your vehicle is ready to drive. So from this point forward, you can drive like a normal vehicle. The car will do everything else itself with respect to alternating the gas engine versus the electric motor, etc., etc. On the top part of the screen here, you'll see that you have your kilometers per hour and your gear. So if you were to use the gear shift just down here to place your vehicle into drive, you'll notice that that P now turns into a D for drive. Fairly straightforward. Going to the right of that, you have your information center. So this is going to give you items like the temperature, your time, your fuel economy from start, your odometer. But you can also, using this directional arrow, on the right hand side of your screen, control what you see in that screen. So as I press the right hand arrow, you'll see that it does cycle through a list of options here. Now I can go into more detail into what those are, but for the time being I'm going to leave it at that. Moving down, this is your radio unit, if you will. So right now it's on radio. You can adjust this from AM to FM to CD. If you have a telephone connected via Bluetooth and you have songs on your smartphone, you can play them through that as well. And if you have a USB stick, you can plug it into the USB. Those will all become available when you input them into this unit. So if you tap on the audio button there, you'll see all of those options there. The ones that are lit are the ones that are active. The ones that are dull do not have a CD or USB in them. You can also go within the same system. You can go tap on your car. This will give you statistics on what the engine's doing, what the motor's doing, what your hybrid battery looks like, as well as you can tap on trip information here and it will give you your current and past energy consumption. Moving down, you do have your ability to adjust your temperature control. It's a little bit different than in other vehicles, but it's primarily going to do the same thing. Your temperature control here is adjusted by the large outer knob. Your air conditioning on and off functionality of the air conditioning or the heat, fan speed, and mode. So you can adjust that as you see necessary. Front rear defrost, and this basically recirculates the air. All right, Jenny, so moving on from the center of your vehicle over to the left-hand side here. You have a few additional buttons here that you may not be familiar with. First off, your automatic high beams. That's part of the Toyota Safety Sense. So what you can do is when you depress this button here, you'll activate the automatic high beams. You can have your stock pushed all the way forward and a small camera hidden right behind the rear view mirror there will allow your vehicle to denote if there is a vehicle approaching you or if there's a vehicle ahead of you and adjust the high beams to compensate for not blinding people. Moving on to the far right side, you have two more buttons. The top button there, that is your lane departure alert. You can turn that on and off. Below that is your pre-collision system. Same there, you can adjust that as required. Now basically what that button does, I'll pan over here to the center informational display there. That adjusts at what distance your pre-collision alert system will activate. I will send you some additional videos on those systems to provide you with additional information. On the steering wheel here, like I described before, you do have your directional pad over there that adjusts what you see in that center screen. These two buttons adjust your trip odometer, and the back button basically pushes you back to your home screen. These buttons over here, you have your volume control, you have your radio mode, or your audio mode if you will. The two arrows beside mode, that controls your seek functionality on either if you're listening to AM, FM, or a CD. You have your voice control functionality, so you can say to the car, play 97.9 FM, and your vehicle will be able to adjust and turn that on. And then just below that, if you have a phone connected via Bluetooth, you have the ability to pick up and hang up a call. All right, Jenny, so that is the 1, 2, 3s of driving a Prius. This is quite simplified, if you will. I haven't gone into a whole bunch of detail. The reason I haven't is because there's lots to the vehicle that I can cover in subsequent videos that I can more or less tune to your questions and dive into greater detail there. Driving the Prius is going to be similar to driving any other vehicle. The onboard computer is going to do all the calculations required to give you the best economy. So other than that, enjoy the vehicle, drive it for a little bit, and we can cover additional questions as they come. If you have further questions you want to see answers for in the meantime, while we get your financing and everything worked out, please let me know. I can make further videos and I'll send them up your way.